Hello, beautiful ones. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Quitters Day. It's January 9th, and it is the official Quitters Day. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to share that with you as soon as I share a quick history lesson about New Year's resolutions. I don't some things I just don't buy into that the zeitgeist culture does, and that happens to be one of them. And so I thought it would be interesting just to do a little research on where did these come from so that we can all understand how just because something happens, and this happens, it started 4,000 years ago, that we just keep doing things that aren't serving us. So let's just go back, take a quick trip down memory lane. New Year's resolutions, they started about 4,000 years ago with the Babylonians. So for 4,000 years, we've been doing this crazy thing. But here's how it actually started back when they had clay tablets, no vision boards. They threw this 12-day festival called Aki 2. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. They would crown a king and they promised their gods things like, I'll pay my debts. I'll return what I borrowed. And basically what they were saying is, please don't smite me because I'm going to do these things. That was the deal. So they were making deals with gods. And so basically they were saying, keep your promises, and then the gods will like you. Yay! And if you break them, then they're going to give you a little side eye. And it wasn't until January 1st. It wasn't in January 1st. It was actually in March-ish because it was around planting season. It had to do with the solstices and all of those things that I talk about so much when it comes to nature, that we've lost an understanding of how we are connected to and relate to nature. But fast forward, it was the Romans, then when Julius Caesar was in there messing around with the calendar, because if you know anything about the calendar, that also isn't based on necessarily seasons. It's based on the solstices. And I'm not going to get into that right here. But Julius said, let's make January 1st the new year. He named it after Janus, meaning January, the two faced god. So I think it's so fascinating that we just don't even realize how much of our history is based in things that we don't even realize, gods, goddesses, and things like that. But so Janus, the two-faced god, was one face looking back and one face looking forward, which explains a lot about New Year's energy, right? Because we're always looking back. What's the review of for this time 2025? What are we looking forward to in 2026? And the Romans would make sacrifices and promise to be better people. So it really is rooted in this idea that being better. Sound familiar? Well, yes. Then the Christians came along and said, let's use New Year's to reflect on our sins, right? Because we are these sinful people, and vow to do better. And so I'm sure some of you have heard of John Wesley. In 1740, he created what he called the watch night services. And in prayer, instead of partying, because, back then they were talking about prayers instead of partying for New Year's Eve. Well, we've lost that completely. And to reflect instead of drinking champagne. And here we are, 4,000 years later, still promising, still swearing, and still breaking resolutions by quitter's date, which is today. And that's the thing that I really want to talk about. They started this in 2019 with quitter's day, and it isn't about the thing with New Year's resolutions. It's not about discipline. It's not about willpower. It's not even about trying harder. And this is why if you have something grounded in basically trying to appease gods, and then we've morphed it into something else and people really don't care. I think the whole thing is actually quite comical, but we're still doing this ritual that was designed to avoid punishment, and we don't live by that. We're actually creatures that are driven by vision and pulling and goodness, and back then it was about appeasing authority. And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to impress the Babylonian gods anymore. So, what if this year isn't about fixing yourself, but actually embodying yourself? I am so excited about, well, first of all, um, what I want to say, resolutions usually they focus around exercise, eating habits, weight loss, all of those good things. But I'm reading this book called Read Your Mind by a mentalist named Oz Perlman. And what I really want to bring out of this is that he talks about this guy's a little nutty. He's a fabulous person, but he's also addicted to super marathons. So if you don't know what a super marathon is, a regular marathon is 26 and a half miles. A super marathon is 150-ish. They could be 120, 130, 150. It doesn't matter. And anybody that does that, I don't know. I think that's a little crazy myself. I would never I probably won't run a marathon in my life. And yet there's a lot of people that do these extreme sports, which is fantastic. But he says something in this book and he tells these stories, and I love this phrase. So we're going to talk about Quitter's Day today and what he calls this. It's the DNF letter, basically, that you're writing in your head. It's did not finish letter that you're writing to yourself while you're running, right? Because your mind will tell your body to give up. This is what's so beautiful about this beautiful vessel that we embody and live in here is that our minds lie to us. They lie to us all the time. And so today on Quitter's Day, what are you giving up on? I love the idea that we write a DNF letter to ourselves about so many things. And I'm as guilty as the next person, and yet, becoming aware of it allows you to push a little harder. And I'm going to be really vulnerable right now and tell you that I already quit 2 weeks before January 1st. This is my time I'm a little different than the rest of the world. The holidays are not something that's as magical to me as some other people because I've learned a long time ago that I want to celebrate Christmas, the energy of Christmas all year long. And so I'm sure I'm going to get comments about this, but it's one of those I go within and I've likened myself to a grizzly bear in hibernation over the last couple of weeks. And this happens every year and I know what's going to happen and I know how it's going to be resolved. I eat, and I'm not talking about eating like you eat cookies at the office and we go to Christmas dinners. I just eat whatever I want. And my body is not designed to do that. It's 70 years old and it really wants to have less food. And so I know you all have heard of actors and actresses that eat a lot to put on weight for a role. Well, I'm not doing that, but it's that same energy. And so and interestingly enough, as soon as January 1st comes, the clock ticks over, the days are getting longer, the solstice has already happened. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. And so I have been going to the gym, not like all the people that make resolutions. I go to the gym all the time. I just wasn't going as much during those 2 weeks. So I figure I always do my quitting before this time, anyways. And so I went to the gym and I could feel myself, especially after reading Oz's is how you say his name, Oz's book and this DNF. Like I was not going to quit. And thank goodness I have been working out religiously for a very long time, so it's not hard to get back into the routine. So just lifting, and I did a social media post on it. You can check it out. And also, another thing that I found very fascinating is that I know that also once you get in a pattern, and it takes just really a quick amount of time, 2 weeks or so, to start a pattern of eating, I know that hypnosis works really well. I've been a hypnotherapist since 1995. So I just created a little hypnosis tape for weight loss, for health, for movement, and it's actually quite wonderful. I had a really old one that I can't even find. So I did that, and it is absolutely so amazing how hypnosis works. It just allows your brain to be willing to accept suggestions. And so I already know how it works, but I thought I was kind of surprised that this works so well on me because I know what it's doing. So I'm going to say that I'm going to post a link if you want to get that hypnosis meditation in the body of this. And also, what's very fascinating is that I've learned over all of these years that binaural beats actually take you to a deeper meditative state. So I use binaural beats in lots of my meditations. And just to combine that with hypnosis, it's like a double whammy. So even if you don't want to lose any weight, I'm just trying to lose about 10 pounds. But even if you don't want to lose weight, it's got suggestions in there for movement and for healthier choices. And who doesn't want to treat this beautiful body that we walk around in a beautiful way? So today, I know that you're not quitting on you, because all the things that I've talked about on these lives up until now and everything that I teach is about you not quitting 1 minute before the miracle. That phraseology comes from 12-step programs, and it is so true because it's that last push, whether it be in a marathon, a super marathon, anything that you're doing that is pushing you so far out of your comfort zone. Don't quit 1 minute before the miracle, because the miracle is on the other side. There's a great, I think it's a cartoon, but it's a story that goes with it. There's a guy, he's tunneling through a tunnel for gold, and you can see the cartoon or whatever it is from the outside in, and he's hacking away and he's hacking away and he's dug all this way, and he's that far from reaching the gold, and he gave up. Because here is the thing about life is saying yes no matter what. And what is it that you are going to say yes back to? Because if you quit, you're only quitting on yourself. You will never get the juiciness if you quit. So, just because it's Quitter's Day today, this is an opportunity to say, I choose me. I choose this opportunity to create the life that I have always dreamed of. And I've shared a lot of opportunities for you to do that in this past week. Go back and look at some of the live videos on the Facebook or on the YouTube to just get yourself driven to be the best that you can be, to be the person that you were designed to come here and be, to be the gift to the world. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on us, because you are the gift. And don't write your did not finish letter. Let that mind say, you know what? You're not in charge. You aren't the truth of who I am. I am the truth. I am the energy that is meant to be here on this planet, to be of service, to be goodness, to be love for this world. So, on this Quitter's Day, it's Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you on Monday.